Good morning, IT. This is Dave, aka DREBG, making a debut vid here on a Wednesday morning, February 10th. I wanted to give everyone a quick heads up to a trade that I made this morning that EK helped out an awful lot on, and he didn't even know it. What you're looking at is the euro-dollar pair on an hourly chart, and you'll see a trend line right in the middle there, and that's coming up from the bottom last week, right up until yesterday and today. Way over on the left, you're going to notice that there's these words, and that's the Forex Factory Calendar Indy that I use to let me know when news is coming around. And I'll show you why this trade worked out great using some volume, but also was a little bit lucky. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So here we are. I got this trend line in here. You'll see that these lines here, this orange line is yesterday's high, orange line here is yesterday's low, and of course we got the pivots in here, and etc., etc. What I'll do now is I'm going to flip over to TOS, and the TOS account, hopefully you can see it pretty well. I noticed a couple of things, and right here was this volume spike on this bar right here. And we were mulling along, not doing a lot as far as volume is concerned, and then relative to everything else that's going on, we had kind of a pretty good spike. I actually saw it originally on the 15-minute, and I'll get you over there in just a second. And it's a little more blatantly obvious on the 15. You'll see here's the candle here, and here's the spike relative to what it was. Pretty good spike. So I did what we're supposed to do. I saw something like this, wait for a pullback, and then look to short. So that's what I looked at on the this EuroFX futures chart over at TOS to get us some good volume numbers. When I flipped back over to MetaShare, and we pulled this down to a 5-minute chart that I was actually using, what I did is I fibbed, you'll see, I fibbed this drop right here. And this drop will be a good indication of where we might want to try to get short. And indeed, when I fibbed it here, you'll see that price action kind of ran up a little bit and got us to right around the 50. So it touched the 50, and as soon as it did, I said I'm going short. And I shorted right at this pink line. I like the fact that it got rejected by the 21 EMA, which is this light blue line here. I'm a big fan of that. Many of you know that. And let me delete this fib. And what happened was I was shooting for the trend line that we established earlier. The fib extensions were coming down below the trend line. Let me draw that back in. So I didn't really think that it'd be worth shooting for those, even though we're hitting it now. But again, this time frame is well beyond when I was trading. When I fibbed it out, these extensions were below this trend line, and I figured there'd be some, pretty good interest right at the trend line. So I figured that I'd just use that as a good target. And in fact, when you really run the numbers on this thing, let me get rid of this fib again, the money management came out to 1-to-1, and I'll show you why that is. When we measure this thing out, I shorted here, and the drop to the trend line was 30 pips. And if I pulled that back up, oh, there goes the market open. When I pull this back, we're right about 30 pips to the top of the last swing. So I figured, hey, 1-to-1 ratio, not a bad deal. Here's where the luck came in. Where I entered was 24 past the hour, but indeed, if you look way over, you'll see that that's exactly when the last time frame was for the trade balance that came out. So that was pure luck that the news didn't really have much of a big effect. And actually, you're not even seeing this now because they have crude oil inventories that popped up. This used to say trade balance for the U.S., and what happens is Forex Factory. I bring this in from Forex Factory, and it gives me the next two coming up, or the most recent. And since the most recent now is on over an hour ago, it's giving me the next events that are coming up. So anyway, that was how I did it. I think it worked out pretty well. I'm hoping that I read things correctly. Again, I'm getting used to this. This is a demo trade, and I'm just trying to get my feet wet a little more on the volume analysis. But I do like using this. I think it's a great tool. It is a shorter time frame, so we got to be a little careful and a little judicious on how we use it. From there, I think that's it. I think this is a good trade. I think it's a good way to go. And as far as the details are concerned, I'm going to try and keep these vids going on my blog, and hopefully you guys get something out of it. Good trading. Have a good one. Bye, guys.